Dun, 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 dun.
It's no secret that I am a huge Netflix fan, and I enjoy the majority of Netflix projects out there. Although some, that I've watched, there's frankly a huge volume to choose from that expands every single day, it seems like. But, there are those projects from time to time where I'm like, you're not perfect, or I didn't like you. The Open House is one of those examples. But anyways, there are many shows to choose from. And in some cases, I look at the show and I'm like, maybe, in most cases, I'm like, sure, I'll check it out. In some cases, I come off of it being like, what in the world did I just watch? And then some other cases, I'm like, I'm not sure I want to watch this show. Maybe it's, the content included, maybe it's the subject matter. This is kind of one of those cases where I'm a little bit shaky on it because the subject matter, it is pretty dark, pretty heavy. But to be fair, I don't want to judge a book by its cover, so we're going to take a look at the, I think it's the official trailer that came out a couple days ago for it. Let me make sure on that really fast. No, it's a teaser. Okay. So this is a new Netflix miniseries coming out at some point in 2019. It's 4 episodes long according to IMDb. Did they give a release date for the project? May 31st. Okay, so we're a little ways out from it. So that's probably why there's not a trailer. So maybe there's a trailer along the way. But it's a limited series with a huge cast. Not many names to recognize, but there are a few, called When They See Us. So this is the official description for the project, in case you were like me, you didn't know what this one's about. Based on a true story, this is really sad, that gripped the country, the limited series will chronicle the notorious case of 5 teenagers of color who were convicted of a rape they did not commit. I've seen a couple stories like this. Again, it's just part of the content where I'm like, I'm not always a big fan of seeing these types of stories because they are such a heavy subject matter, and frankly, these stories just, they leave you depressed. It's just awful behavior in some parts that people choose to participate in. Just evil, quite frankly. And it's like, again, these projects can get really dark. And when it comes to Netflix, they're very high quality. But in some cases, they're a little higher, their higher production value tends to make the content even more sensitive and harder to watch. And this may be one of those cases. But again, to be fair, I'm going to watch a teaser. But it's interesting the timing of this trailer came out, because in my psychology class, we were just talking about a story. We were asked to watch it for one of our tests. It was published. I'll have a video link for you in the description box down below. It's actually quite a curious case, but it was definitely a real eye-opener to listen to and learn more about, with that field of crime, how DNA testing, when it gets in there, can really shake up things. It's labeled as eyewitness testimony, parts 1 and 2. It's about 26 minutes long. You total them both. But it's published on the CBS News channel. It's a story about Jennifer Thompson, who went for a situation where she misidentified. And to be fair, in that case, as the video, I won't spoil it in case you want to go check out the story for yourself, but it was a real eye-opener. So these cases, there are some times where these situations like this do happen. I'm not particularly knowledgeable on the particular story this is talking about, so we're going to go ahead and look at the project. Maybe we'll find out for ourselves. I'm sure the show will explain it when it comes out on May 31st. We'll see, though, if this is, one I really want to watch, because I'm still at this point where I read the description, I'm like, I don't know. Again, really sad subject matter, and I don't always like seeing really sad projects. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. We're going to watch this first, and I'll talk about it more in my condensed use while watching the video together. Even though in series defenses like this, sometimes it can be an eye-opener for people. It can really make you see things you didn't once see, or maybe feel emotions you didn't once feel. Okay, video's pulling up. Here we are. Okay. Let's take a look. Here we go. Oh, Ava DuVernay made this?
You watch them grow, and you start to think you did a good job. And then one night, you look away.
Police! Stop right there! Don't resist! Do not resist!
Let's get an army of blue up in Harlem. You go into those projects and you stop every little thug you see. You bring in every kid who was in the park last night.
They're nervous. Hard world we live in. That looks like a very deep project. It doesn't look like they go too overboard as well. in some cases, you know, with some series, it's an issue I have with certain ones where it's like, okay, you know, you're telling a story that in some cases, you know, needs to be told to be quite fair, but sometimes they go a little over the top when it comes to those projects, and it's like they show too much. This teaser, if you know what I mean, just kind of like on a content level, there are some things that, you know, it's kind of like what I explained with Split, for instance. There was a scene in Split, I said before with that film, which is not at all the same genre. The project itself, I was kind of split on it. As I said before, I kind of coined that phrase, split left me split. Seemed pretty fair. A pretty good way to illustrate that. There were a lot of things I liked, like the psychological aspect of the project and James McAvoy. I thought he was just fantastic in the film. But there were certain cases where I didn't like some of the content involved. There was one scene in particular with one of his personalities, Dennis. And I'm not going to get into detail because I do have a lot of younger viewers on this channel, so I try to be very coy with some of the things I say. But anybody who's seen the film knows what I'm talking about. Or anybody that, you know, or kind of, I'll try and, again, be as coy about it as possible, but just enough to give you an idea. But there's one personality, Dennis, who's kind of not right in the head and kind of an evil person just by nature, it seems like. And when at the beginning of the film, he kidnaps these 3 girls, and the movie wants to show, I'm guessing it's kind of M. Night Shyamalan, the writing and stuff like that, they go a little overboard. Sometimes your metaphor does not need a visual aid. Like, I get that these girls being kidnapped puts them in an incredibly disempowered position, right? They can't go anywhere, they can't do anything, they're desperate to find a way to escape, but they're basically, very unfortunately, at the mercy of this personality, this evil person. And he asks them to do something, and it's like, okay, again, you're trying to show me that these girls have no power in the situation, which, again, very sad, definitely hard to watch in that respect. But they went a little overboard when it came to the visual. It's like, I don't need to see it manifested like that, and I really don't need to see that carried out for the entire movie, because as somebody who, you know, really appreciates modesty, I didn't like that. So, again, if you've seen the film, and past commentary of what I've said in that area when it comes to movies that I don't like, you know, seeing immodesty being praised so much, you can probably understand where I'm coming from in that. But as it relates to this project, I was saying, there's something where it's like, okay, you're trying to show something, but you go a little overboard. I don't think this did, as far as we're seeing it now. Now, again, this is just the teaser. It's a little out from the series, but it definitely plays more, I think, with the emotional factor. It's really sad to see, cases like this. This is definitely be hard to watch. And just some of the dialogue that's kind of the over narration, the voiceover for that part, just awful, just disgraceful dialogue. I mean, not that the way it's written, just the fact that someone would talk like that, and still that happens to this day, and just awful, just dreadful, you know, that. But when it comes to this project, it's just really sad that situations happen like this. Again, it's very unfortunate. Well, we do live in a fallen world, right? You know, sin. That's what happens. But there's something I didn't wish exists to be that. Just awful. And then to see it put people, or these boys, I mean, I don't know, based on the scene, if one of these guys is guilty. But it seems like this kid that they focus the camera on in the blue jacket, it seems like they're trying to say that he's not guilty and he's assumed to be. And it's really unfortunate. I mean, this, especially in that case, this just scars people for life. In some cases, you know, it is rightfully deserved. Some people deserve that scar for life. They deserve to have their reputation ruined like that because they did something truly awful. And just truly inhumane. But in some cases, you know, there's these, like maybe this boy. It's just really sad. So, we'll see what happens when a trailer releases for When They See Us. Again, I think it's a good entry for the first teaser. We'll see what happens when the trailer releases.